The long form, the yang long form, 108 movements, is actually my favorite form. The reason that I like it so much is that I find that the transitions from gesture to gesture are a lot smoother and more subtle. And believe it or not, the precedence for that begins in the very first movement of the form. So that being said, let's get started. Put your heels together and point your toes about 30 degrees out to the corner, not 45, but just a little short of that. Have your heels touching. Relax. All right, to start the movement, we're going to shift our weight 100% to the right leg. And then from here, I'm going to peel my left foot off the floor. So I actually trying to feel my heel leave the floor, the ball of my foot to the big toes. And then I'm going to extend my foot to the side. As I do this, I'm kind of imagining that I'm doing sort of a side kick, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to just put my foot out here, look at this angle, and then if I plant the foot, and when I say plant, I mean to bend the right knee to bring the foot to the floor. And you'll notice if I plant without making an adjustment on my foot, I'm hitting the instep, and then I have to roll over to get to my next move. So in anticipation of setting up a good Wu Chi stance right from the get-go, I'm going to shift my weight, peel the foot, extend it, and then I'm going to cock my ankle downward so that when I plant it, my foot is already parallel to the floor. Okay? So that gives me a nice preparatory position for the left foot as I move to my Wu Chi. From here, I'm going to shift my weight to my left leg. Now I'm 100% here. And this is what I was talking about before, about how the long form is very subtle. And we set that precedence right in this moment. As I turn my center line, I'm going to turn it until it lines up with my right foot. So from here, turn, and once you're lined up with this foot, use your center to pull it back, pivot on the heel, root it, and sink. So again, using the concept of rooting in your mind, your chi is in your dantian. It follows the bones and the sinews, so you're going to corkscrew that into the bubbling well. And whether you want to use a screwing concept to root yourself, or if you want to picture tree roots coming out from that bubbling well point in the bottom of your foot. So now I'm settled. So let me just go through that process one more time, all the way through. So I'm going to shift right, peel left, extend, cock my ankle down, plant, pass through my midpoint, turn my center, line up with my right foot, retrieve the foot, sink, root in your bubbling well. All right, the next part of the Tai Chi Beginning is simply this. You never move your hands without moving your center. So I'm going to lift my center first, to lift my hands. Then I'm going to drop my center just before I get to the top of my arc, if you will, shoulder level. I'm going to drop my center, which is going to allow me to sink my elbows, and then I'm going to roll this log. I like to imagine that my wrists are attached to a log floating in water. So if I was to do this from the side, it will look like this. I'm going to lift my center to lift my hands. I'm going to drop my center just before my hands get to the top, even with my shoulders. I'm going to drop my center to drop my elbows, to drop my wrists, or to roll this log, and then I'm going to sink all the way back down. Okay? So, from the beginning, shifting right, peel left, extend, cock the ankle down, plant, bring your foot to the floor by bending the knee, shift, turn to the right. When your center lines with the right foot, use the center to bring it back and sink, root. Lift the center to lift the hands, drop the center to drop the hands and roll the log, and bring them all the way down. Now, continuing from here, the next thing we're going to look at is preparation for the first gesture. Well, actually, this is the first gesture. It's called Tai Chi Beginning. The second gesture is ward off left, and if you're doing the form in the other direction, it would be ward off right. So there's a subtlety here that I want to bring to your attention. So I'm just going to do the move first. It basically is going to look like this. I'm going to sink in my left leg, make my knee bend towards the front, and lift my hands. Okay? So from a stance change perspective, without the hands, I'm going to, again, corkscrew into this left leg. So what I don't want to do is this. I don't want to shift, then turn. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to bend my left knee and make it go straight ahead. And as I do that, I'm going to turn at the same time. So I'm going to bend my knee. I'm going to be pivoting on the heel of my right foot. So I'm going to bend my knee towards the front and sink. So you'll notice that I still get into this separation of yin and yang, but how I got there was more subtle. I didn't shift, turn, and now test the ice, right? But instead, I twist and sit. So I'm going to twist and sit, pivot. This foot becomes up and my knee is straight. And if I did that properly, I should have 100% of my weight in my left leg. Okay? So that's it as far as the base goes. So practice not shifting and turning. Practice what I like to say, corkscrew. In the same idea where you're corkscrewing your chi, I'm kind of doing that same thing. So here I am at this position, but as I corkscrew, bending my left knee, I'm going to twist and it's going to change my alignment. So now I've gotten over here through this sinking and sitting process. Hands. My hands are basically, after I finish taking my breath, they're relaxed at my side. Now, without moving my feet, both of your hands are facing each other. Don't complicate this. As I make my turn, well, I guess I'm going to have to do it at the same time. I'm going to corkscrew my left leg. I'm going to take my hands and keep the palms facing each other as I sit and lift them out here. Now, don't lock your elbows. Everything's always relaxed. This hand is pointing towards my elbow, and this one is palm down. Now, the reason for that is if somebody was grabbing my wrists and I do my opening move, this makes me come out on top. So now I'm holding them. And since my hands are somewhat close to the way we're doing it in the form, as I do this corkscrew, and I don't know if you're going to be able to visualize this, but I have their arms in front of me. As I corkscrew, it's going to follow, because I'm holding it. So I'm going to twist it underneath here, and the other hand I'm going to pick up. So that's why you want to get this concept of your hands facing each other. Maintain that relationship, because after you, from a self-defense perspective, if two hands are being grabbed, if I break their grip, now I have a place where I want to turn my hands. That's why we're going to keep them like this. So now when I take this posture here, what's going to happen to them is they're going to get bound up like this, because you're lifting one of their hands, and then you're tucking the other hand underneath. So they're going to end up like this. And since they're in a funky position here, when I go to do my ward off move, which comes after this, I'll speed this up. When I do this, I've got their hands crossed right here. Now it's nothing for me to send them off, launch them far away. Okay, so let me just do that whole process from the get-go, and then we'll move on. All right, I'm going to shift to the right, peel left, extend, cock the ankle, plant my foot, shift to the left leg, turn to the right, get my foot, bring it back, and sink. Start to lift the center to lift the hands, drop the center to drop the hands, and sink. Now, corkscrew in the left leg. Bend the left knee straight ahead. Keep it over your toes and sit as you pivot your right foot 90 degrees to the side. And right here, I should have 100% of my weight in my left leg. Okay? So I'll go to the next thing, which is kind of like halfway between the beginning and the preparation for the ward off left. So you can look at it any way you want to. It's either the end of the beginning or the beginning of the ward off left. So I'm going to put my toes down, draw my hands in, and come to a center step. So I'm going to kind of like make this the end of the beginning. That's just my preference, but this will go into ward off left, which I'm going to detail in the next video. So now what I'd like to do is take you through the Tai Chi Beginning, but in two directions. You've heard me speak to it before. It's important that you learn the form going to your left and to your right, because if you only do the form in one direction, then you're going to favor one side of your body in certain stances. So the only way that I can give equal time is I have to learn how to do the form in the other direction. And that's going to be tricky because we have a strong side and a weak side, and learning to become ambidextrous is part of your Tai Chi Chuan challenge. But think of it in terms of full benefit, because if I'm only working one side, that means I'm also working only one side of my mind. So I need to figure out how to do the same thing in the other direction. So that being said, I'm going to do the beginning in the normal direction, and I'm going to have you follow along, and then I'm going to do it in the opposite direction, but I will set it up in a fashion where you can practice the normal direction from 3 angles, and then I'm going to do it in the opposite direction as well. So there's going to be a point where you're going to mirror me, and if my right hand is moving, you should be moving your left hand. You'll see what I mean when we get there. So, that being said, let me turn around, and you can follow me as far as watching me in the television. Move with me. So, at the beginning of the form, heels are together, my feet are pointing to the corners. Relax your shoulders. Alright, I'm going to shift to the right leg and peel my left foot, extend it to the side, cock the ankle downward, and then plant the foot. And you got to figure out how far to go out to set up your Wu Chi. I'm going to shift to the left leg, turn my center until it lines up with my right foot, and I'm going to use my center to bring it back, make my feet parallel like I'm standing on railroad tracks, and corkscrew root through the bubbling wells. Alright, lift the center to lift the hands. Drop the center to drop the hands and come all the way down. Now remember, keep your palms facing each other. Corkscrew in your left leg. Bend the left knee straight ahead, pivot on the heel, and sit into the left leg as you lift your hands off to the right. Don't lock everything, keep everything slightly bent. The right hand should be palm down, left hand is palm up. Alright, shift your weight to the right foot. Plant, corkscrew in the right foot, bring your hands in and hold this ball over your hip, drag the left foot in, and we're ready to go to the next gesture. Here we go. So shift right, peel left, extend, cock the ankle down, plant. So if you've established your left foot for the Wu Chi, shift all your weight 100% to the left leg, turn the center, line it up with your right foot, use the center to pull the toes. You're pivoting on the heel. Sink. Corkscrew into the earth. Alright, lift the center to lift your hands. Drop your center to drop your hands. Roll the log. Alright, let's prepare this first move. Corkscrew in the left leg. Sit as you do and turn your right toes 90 degrees to the right and lift your hands. Shift your weight. Put your toes down. Bring the right hand in, drop the left hand down to hip level, and hold this ball. Alright, very good. I'm going to face the camera now. I'm going to move in the opposite direction, but you mirror what I'm doing. Okay? So, shift right, peel left, extend, cock the ankle, plant it, shift to the left leg, turn to your right, line up your center with your right foot, pull it in, and root, sink. All right, lift the center, lift the hands, drop the center, drop the elbows, roll the log, bring the hands all the way down. Corkscrew in the left leg. Put the toes down, center step, hold the ball. All right, very good. Let's do the form in the opposite direction. So again, you can follow me. All right, so we're going to shift left, peel right, extend, cock the ankle down, plant the foot, shift to the right leg, turn left, get your left foot. Okay, lift the center to lift the hands, drop the center to drop the elbows, roll the log, and sink all the way down. All right, so now you're going to have to corkscrew in your right leg. So bend the right leg forward, sit, twist that 90 degrees with the left foot, left palm down, right palm up. Put your toes down, drop the right hand down to your left hip, bring the ball in, center step. So again, you can follow me from this direction. And shift left, peel right, extend, cock the ankle, plant, pass through, all your weight into the right leg, turn, line your center with your left foot, bring it back, and root. Lift the center to lift the hands, drop the center, drop the elbows, relax the shoulders, roll the log, and all the way down. Okay, corkscrew in the right leg. Bend the knees straight ahead, pivot on the heel of the left foot, lift your hands, shift your weight, put your toes down, bring the left hand in, keep it shoulder level, right hand down at your center, and center step. Shift left, peel right, extend, plant, pass through, align your center with your foot, bring it back, lift the center, lift the hands, drop the center, drop the elbows, roll the log, sink. Corkscrew in your right leg, 90-degree twist step, center step, hold ball.